Pluto transiting the first house, the most demanding transit of your life. In my experience, Pluto transiting the first house is one of the most confronting transits a person can undergo. It is rarely subtle. More often, it marks a period in which the life you have known begins to unravel. The identity you've built, the roles you've played, and the direction you've followed may no longer survive the pressure Pluto applies. For many people, this period is accompanied by loss, upheaval, and an overwhelming sense that life is dismantling itself. Relationships may end. Careers can collapse or change beyond recognition. Health concerns or changes in physical appearance may force you to confront your own vulnerability. Even your confidence and sense of self can be stripped back to their foundations. The experience becomes even more intense when Pluto forms major aspects to natal planets. If Pluto aspects your moon, the emotional landscape can change dramatically. Family dynamics may be transformed, long-buried emotions can surface, and significant events involving home, caregiving, or important maternal relationships may become turning points. You may find yourself grieving, letting go of the past, or confronting emotional patterns that can no longer continue. If Pluto aspects Uranus, expect the unexpected. Life can change direction in an instant. Plans that once seemed certain may suddenly become obsolete. The future you imagined may disappear, forcing you to reinvent yourself repeatedly. It can feel as though the ground beneath your feet has vanished, demanding that you build an entirely new foundation. If Pluto aspects your Sun, it doesn't simply change your circumstances. It comes for the person you thought you were. Pluto on the Sun can feel like your entire definition of yourself is being challenged. Pluto does not negotiate. It exposes what is no longer authentic and asks you to release it. The process can be relentless, but its purpose is transformation, they say, rather than punishment. If you live through a transit like this and feel overwhelmed, know that you do not have to carry it alone. These periods can be emotionally exhausting, and seeking support from trusted friends, family, or qualified mental health professional is a sign of strength, not weakness. Sometimes the greatest act of courage during a Pluto transit is allowing yourself to be supported while your life is being rebuilt. Another hallmark of Pluto transiting the first house is the change in your presence. Even if your physical appearance changes very little, people often respond to you differently. There is an intensity that wasn't there before, or perhaps it always was there, but now it can no longer be hidden. People may describe you as mysterious, intimidating, or difficult to read. Some will be drawn to your depth, while others may feel uncomfortable in your presence without understanding why. It's as though you carry an invisible force field. You don't have to say much. People sense it. Your gaze can become especially penetrating. During this transit, it's not uncommon to feel as though you can see straight through people. Superficial conversations become almost unbearable because you instinctively detect what lies beneath the surface. One look from you can feel like an X-ray, piercing through pretense, exposing insecurities, motives, and hidden truths. Not everyone is comfortable being seen that deeply. You also become far less tolerant of dishonesty, manipulation, or empty talk. Your patience for superficiality diminishes. You no longer suffer fools gladly, and you may find yourself walking away from people, situations, and environments that no longer resonate with who you are becoming. As Pluto strips away your old identity, it also strips away relationships that belong to that old version of you. Friends drift away, professional connections dissolve. Some people leave because they no longer recognize you. Others leave because your transformation forces them to confront parts of themselves they would rather avoid. This can feel lonely, but it is often part of Pluto's deeper work. It isn't simply removing people from your life. It is creating space for relationships that are built on authenticity rather than familiarity. By the time Pluto leaves your first house, many of the people around you may be completely different from those who were there when the transit began, because you are no longer the same person. And if you are going through this now, remember something important. You will survive it. You may not come out of this transit as the person who entered it. In fact, that is precisely the point. Pluto in the first house can feel like you've been thrown into your own version of the labors of Hercules. One ordeal after another, each demanding a different kind of strength. Just when you think you've overcome one challenge, another appears. Your old strategies stop working. Your old identity no longer fits. You are forced to reinvent yourself again and again, simply to keep moving forward. But Hercules didn't emerge from his labors as the same man who began, and neither will you. You come out of Pluto having discovered strengths you didn't know you possessed. You become harder to deceive, less willing to betray yourself, and far less interested in living according to somebody else's expectations. You have looked into the darkness and survived it. And one day you look back and realize that what felt like the destruction of your life was also the destruction of the version of yourself that could no longer continue. You went through the underworld. You faced the monsters. You survived the labors. And you came out the other side with a story to tell.